This is the ALORAIR 180PPD Commercial Dehumidifier, and I've been running it for a full 3 months across a sealed crawl space and a partially finished basement. From my experience, this unit is built for serious moisture, not light-duty dampness. I brought it in after a spring soak pushed my crawl space humidity into the low 70s. Within about a day and a half, I was reading 45 to 50%, and the musty odor started fading fast. Since then, it's been holding the space steady around the 50% target with very little babysitting. Key features that matter most to me are the built-in pump, the solid low-temperature performance, and a form factor that fits in tight places. The pump is the real difference maker. Instead of messing with a collection bucket or trying to force a gravity drain to work, I connected the included drain hose, routed it to a laundry sink, and I was done. The pump has enough lift to push water up a floor, which gives you a lot of freedom in where you place the unit. The long power cord and hose length also help if your closest outlet or drain is inconveniently far. The purge button is handy before moving it. It empties the internal reservoir so you're not dripping across the floor. Performance-wise, the numbers on the spec sheet line up with what I've seen. It's rated up to 180 pints a day at saturation, which is an extreme test scenario, and 85 ppd at AHAM, which is the industry's standard testing at 80 degrees Fahrenheit and 60% humidity. AHAM is the one I use to compare dehumidifiers because it reflects real-life conditions. In my space of roughly 1,600 to 800 square feet, the airflow feels strong, and the air cycles well enough that I don't see big humidity pockets. If your layout is chopped up with walls and storage, any dehumidifier will struggle to move air into every corner, so a fan or more open pathways can help. A big win is how it handles cooler temps. Many compressor dehumidifiers ice up below the mid-40s. This one has automatic defrost. When the coils frost, it pauses the compressor, keeps the fan moving air over the coils, and then resumes. I've watched it go through a thaw cycle on chilly mornings and jump right back into drying without any manual reset. I like to be transparent about energy use because these machines often run continuously at the start. On my meter, I typically see 560-620 watts when it's actively drying. During the first 2 days, it ran most of the time. After the humidity dropped, the duty cycle fell back to around half the time, depending on weather. At an electricity rate of about 15 per hour, I'm seeing a monthly cost in the ballpark of $40–$55 once the space is stable. In my opinion, that's reasonable for keeping a big area dry and protecting wood, insulation, and stored items. Noise is part of the reality. The spec says around 58 dBA, which is similar to a conversation. In an open living room, you'd hear it and probably not love it. In a crawl space or a separate basement room, it's fine. It also adds a small amount of heat because it's a refrigeration system. In my crawl space, I measured a temperature bump of roughly 2–3 gigafarads when it's working hard. That's normal for this type of unit and actually helps in coolant. Build quality feels commercial. The housing is tough plastic, the handles are strong, and the footprint is compact for what's inside. It's not light. The listing says about 55 pounds, and with the compressor and coils, it feels every bit of that. No wheels on mine, which I actually prefer in a crawl space because it stays put and level. I had a minor rattle during week 2 that turned out to be a loose screw on a panel. A quarter turn fixed it, and it never returned. Beyond that, mine has been reliable so far. I know there are reports out there about units arriving dead on arrival or with issues. I didn't experience that, but I get why that makes people nervous. If you pick one up, keep the packaging until you know everything works, just in case. On controls and smart features, the interface is simple. Set a target humidity, check inlet-outlet readings, and let it run. Memory restart after a power outage has worked perfectly for me. My unit is labeled Storm LGR Extreme Wi-Fi, and it did pair to the app on 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. I can turn it on or off, change the set point, and check readings remotely. That said, the app feels a bit clunky. Once in a while, the data updates lag a little, and the interface isn't as polished as some thermostat apps. If remote monitoring is mission critical for you, I'd confirm with the seller which app your batch uses, and consider a separate humidity sensor as a backup. Speaking of sensors, I compared the onboard humidity reading to my external meter and found a consistent 5 to 8% difference. That's common on dehumidifiers, but it matters because the unit decides when to cycle based on that reading. I simply set my target a few points lower to match what my external sensor says, and problem solved. If you've never used one of these, it's worth knowing. LGR, or low-grain refrigerant, just means the system stays efficient at pulling water even when the air is already pretty dry. It helps you get from mildly damp down to truly dry without stalling out. Maintenance has been easy. I pop the MERV 8 filter out every month, vacuum it, and rinse if it's grimy. In a dusty crawl space, that's essential because a clogged filter will choke airflow and cut performance. I also give the drain hose a quick look to make sure nothing is kinked or blocked. That's about it. It's perfect for a sealed crawl space or a large basement where you want set-it-and-forget-it moisture control and don't want to worry about emptying buckets. From my experience, the combination of compact size, strong airflow, auto defrost, and the built-in pump makes daily life easier. If you're new to these specs, the big ones to remember are the 85 ppd AHAM rating for realistic capacity, the 210 CFM airflow for circulation, and the 33.8 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit operating range, so it keeps working when it's cool. I'd recommend this for homeowners and pros who need serious drying power in areas up to about 2,300 square feet, assuming decent airflow and a reasonably sealed space. It's also great for post-leak or post-storm drying, where you need to pull a lot of moisture out quickly. If your top priorities are ultra-quiet operation and a sleek look in a living space, this isn't that. If you're counting on flawless smart controls, manage expectations, or use a separate monitor. Also, be prepared for the wait and have a plan for routing the drain. In conclusion, the ALORAIR 180PPD Commercial Dehumidifier has delivered what I needed. Fast pull-down from a wet start, steady long-term humidity control, reliable drainage, and workable noise in a non-living area. The app works for me, but isn't perfect. The onboard humidity reading is a bit optimistic compared to an external meter, and the unit is heavy. The core job, moving a lot of moist air over cold coils and getting the water out of your house, gets done well. In my opinion, that's what counts most. If this video helped, please hit subscribe, drop your questions or your own experience in the comments, and I'll do my best to reply. Thank you for watching.